Okay, so I just really love this topic of creating or of create. I think that it's something that's really important in our culture and something that we can easily dismiss. And it's really a huge part of my story. Maintaining creativity is a huge part of my story. So I'm just really grateful that I get to share. Sam pretty much pushed me to do it and said that I had to. And then when I said no about 2 or 3 times, then I realized that it really was my story and that I did have to share it. So I'm grateful. But for my job, I get to create with words. So I write content and web copy for an online business. And it's really exciting because I get to motivate or encourage people or even elicit change in people with whatever I write. And I love being able to create that way. But I also get to create at home. I love creating a space for our family that helps us create memories, that is fun. I really do not like clutter. We don't own a lot of things, and I've felt a lot of shame for not having a lot of toys around on the floor for our kids, but I've learned that that's just how I operate. I love being able to present something that's visually beautiful and that creates a space for my kids to be able to make memories, and that's what our family gets to do in our house. I also love creating experiences for people. Part of the reason why I loved starting Mugs was I was able to create experiences for every single person that walked through the door to buy their coffee in the morning. I was able to impact their day in some way, and that was really impactful for me as well. Lastly, I love creating, I'm really nervous, I'm sorry. So anything I touch, I really love making it beautiful. I think you can probably talk to any of my friends and they know, like if we're at a dinner, what food I brought. It's 50-50 if it tastes good, but I can promise that it looks really good. I love visually displaying whatever I bring. So this has been a part of my life since I was a little girl. When I was 8 or 9 years old, my idea of having fun was being outside with a hammer and nails and some wood and creating my own wood sculptures that I thought were pretty amazing. I also painted a lot of things in our basement that didn't need to be painted. My parents grounded me for this one. I did not get grounded a lot, but I etched a lot of different designs or carved some things in some dressers that did not need to be carved in, but I thought it was beautiful. So that was the one time I got grounded growing up. That tells you something. But I've always had this creative streak in me that I knew needed to be expressed, and I didn't. I just had to explore how to express it. So I continue to learn about how to maintain a creative life, which is my topic tonight. Not because I'm a master at it at all, but because I really do stink at it most times, and I've really had to try hard to not hide my creativity throughout different life seasons that I've gone through. So I feel like I've learned a lot about how to maintain creativity because of different life seasons that we've gone through. I'm going to argue tonight that I think creativity is directly related to how you think God views you. Creativity is important to me because I see so many people dismiss it or think that they don't have time for it. I see people ignore what really makes them unique and dismiss the creativity that they have inside them because they think that they need to look like other people or fit a certain mold. And we're talking about maintaining creativity, and how are we supposed to maintain our creativity if we ignore it or if we dismiss it? So it's really easy to ignore our callings or our creativities, especially when we go through huge seasons of change or different seasons of life, which I shared about earlier. And I completely understand how that happens. After Sam and I got married, we started and ran Mugs for a while, which Matt maybe aren't here, but I bet they'll tell you it requires a lot of creativity. And we were really involved at RCC. We, 2 years later, had our first baby. 2 years later, we had another baby. Those 6 years of my life were tons of changes happened, and maintaining a creative life got really difficult. And that was also at a point in my life where my identity was really fluctuating, and it was easy to try to fit myself into a different mold depending upon who was around me, even if it wasn't the mold that suited my gifts or my calling or my creativity all that well. So I have a question. Why does the world like to put labels on us when we have big milestones or different season changes in life? It's almost like the world tells us, you're married now, so this is what your life looks like, this is what you're supposed to do. Or, you're married now, so this is what your life looks like. Or, you're a mom now, so this is what you should work, how work should look. You should be at work a lot, or be at home a lot, or don't create a lot because you're not even going to have time for it. So I feel like the world works in these black and white statements, and it really boils us down into these either-or statements, where you're either a really good parent, or you're really good at your job, or you're a creative, or you're not. And I really feel like these labels aren't true, and I really feel like these labels affect our creativity because we're not able to express who we really are. Some of us are really great at ignoring labels or challenging labels, but I'm not. And I really struggled. I didn't know what it looked like to be a mom at all, really. And so I looked to other moms around me, which was really encouraging and great, but it was also extremely hard because I felt like I needed to reflect the exact same qualities in my role that they had. And that just didn't fit right for me. I didn't see other people or other moms or other women around me being creative like I wanted to be creative. And I felt really ashamed for desiring to be creative while having these two amazing boys as well. So I stopped exploring and tried to fit a mold that I wasn't supposed to fit. And I really lost my creativity. And it felt really awkward, but I thought that was what I was supposed to do, right? That was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to serve my family, and that's what I thought made sense. And I saw that happening all around me as well with other women or other people in different life stages. But it just continued to not make sense to me. So those were the warning signs. I really told myself I had to be a mom a certain way or looked a certain way for me with my life situation. I took what the world told me instead of questioning it and holding it up next to what God told me my life was supposed to look like. So I was really easily deceived. So the world's voice seeps in and tells us that we need to be concerned about how much money we're making, or creating more margin in our life, or saying yes to new opportunities, or saying no to create more boundaries. I feel like the people around us, the people we surround ourselves with can start to convince us that we need to live like they live. And all of these things start to propel us to assume things about the way that God's made us. We try to fit into a mold that God didn't design for us to fit. And then in a way, I think we let go of our creativity. So you learn to be creative by experimenting, by using your imagination, by questioning assumptions. And you can't do that when you assume that your life needs to look like everybody else's. So maybe you create team environments at work, or maybe you create with words or with food or with paint. Maybe you create at home with your family. Creativity can be problem solving. It can be creating something out of nothing. It can be something so important and so silly at the same time. It really can be anything. But whatever the case, if you permit yourself to do the work you're called to do, or to create what you're meant to create, it's ultimately a gift to everyone else. So I'm sure most of you expect me to stand up here and maybe share 3 points, or sit up here and share 3 points about maintaining creativity. That's what I'm a type A person, giving my 3 points about how to master this. And to be honest, I really had a talk prepared like that. And it was very good, just so you know. And then last night it hit me, and I realized I was complicating something that didn't need to be complicated at all. I was trying to fit creativity into a formula, and we're all different. And I was taking God out of the equation altogether. I don't want to say the things that make sense to you or that sound pretty, or I just want to be real. I want to be raw about my experiences and about my creativity in my life. And I'm sure a lot of us would agree that following God is something that needs to be real and without filters as well, and that it isn't something that is always comfortable or pretty or can be explained. And so navigating creativity or maintaining creativity is hard and uncomfortable, much like following God is, but it is also beautiful and raw and such a blessing to other people around us. That's why I think maintaining creativity matters. Being creative is being exactly who God created you to be. You maintain that creativity by being close to God. So we heard for Al, creativity is creating teams that work well to accomplish big goals. For Kirk, creativity is creating something out of metal that brings so many people so much joy. Both of these people are extremely creative, and they're exactly who God created them to be. But if they tried to fit someone else's mold or someone else's calling, I don't think it would work for them. And wouldn't matter how much creativity they had inside them. And the same is true for all of us. The world will do its best to make us question our callings, to tempt us in many different directions, to make us feel like we need to change in order to fit into a different mold, to be successful. The world will try to deceive us. So I don't have that 3 steps to master maintaining creativity list at all, but instead I just have my story and the reminder that when you're close to God and you wrestle through understanding the calling that He has given you and the passions that you do have inside you, you're able to stay creative and express your creativity. Nothing else matters, and you're able to stand bold in what that calling is or that creativity is because you know it is your calling from God and nothing else matters. So knowing this now, I want to act on it. It doesn't matter your age or your life stage. God is still calling you to express something, and we're all called, and that's what matters. So what is He calling you to? Thanks.